Hello, my dear children. Children, in the class today, we'll start a fresh chapter, and that is electromagnetic induction. Well, children, we have already studied electrical induction. When electric field is induced in a substance when the substance is subjected to external electric field. This is electrical induction. When a substance is placed in magnetic field, inside the substance, some magnetic field is induced. This is called magnetic induction. And what are we going to study right now is electromagnetic induction. This simply means generation of electricity, electrical induction due to magnetic effect. And how precisely we define electromagnetic induction? It is written here. Development of electric potential difference across the ends of a coil or conductor when magnetic flux linked with the coil varies. When magnetic flux passing through a coil or any conductor increases or decreases. In this situation, an electric potential difference is produced across the ends of the coil or conductor. This phenomenon is called as electromagnetic induction. Electricity world over is generated by this phenomenon. We have a conductor that is in the form of coil, and we rotate the coil in magnetic field. And as the coil rotates in magnetic field, across the ends of the coil, an electric potential difference is created. And this electric potential difference is source of electrical energy world over. This is working of AC generator, I am telling you. And we'll discuss that working in detail later on. So, what is electromagnetic induction? It is production of electric potential difference across the ends of a coil or conductor when magnetic flux passing through the coil vary or changes. So variation of flux passing through the coil is must for electromagnetic induction to take place. The potential difference which is generated is called as induced EMF. We'll talk about induced EMF very shortly. And when the two terminals where potential difference is created are connected by a load, they are closed by a load, then current is also produced. That current is called as induced current. So let us understand this electromagnetic induction as a phenomenon once again through very famous experiment which is called as magnet coil experiment. What is there in magnet coil experiment? In magnet coil experiment, we have a coil and a magnet, and this coil is also connected with a galvanometer. Now, as this magnet moves towards the coil, this galvanometer connected across the coil shows deflection, or this coil moves towards the magnet, keeping the magnet stationary. Again, there is deflection in the coil. If this magnet moves away from the coil, keeping this coil stationary, there is deflection in the coil, there is deflection in the galvanometer. Or if we move this coil away from the magnet which is stationary, in that case also there is deflection in the galvanometer. If both magnet and coil are brought closer to each other, there is deflection in the galvanometer, and if both magnet or coil are taken away from each other, there is deflection in the galvanometer. Well, in all these situations which I have just stated, there is variation of flux passing through the coil. When the separation between the coil and the magnet decreases, there is increase of flux passing through the coil. And when the separation between the coil and the magnet increases, there is decrease of flux passing through the coil. In both situations, there is change of flux passing through the coil. And it is variation of flux which is must for electromagnetic induction to take place. And when electromagnetic induction takes place, induced EMF is generated, and since the coil is closed, induced current is also produced, and by virtue of that, this galvanometer shows deflection. So under what condition potential difference is created across the ends of the coil? That is what is written here mathematically. As long, that mathematical condition is, as long there is non-zero relative velocity between coil and the magnet, potential difference is produced or electromagnetic induction takes place. And as long there is zero relative velocity between magnet and the coil, there is no electromagnetic induction. Relative velocity between magnet and the coil is zero when either both of them are at rest or both are moving with the same velocity in any direction. When relative separation, the separation between the coil and the magnet remains fixed, in that case the relative velocity is zero, and in that case flux passes through the coil, but there is no variation of flux. The mere passage of flux through a coil would not produce any electromagnetic induction. The flux passing through the coil must vary, and that is what is the essence of magnet coil experiment. There are certain laws which govern this phenomenon called electromagnetic induction. These laws are three in number. Number one is Faraday's first law, then we have Faraday's second law, and finally we have third law, which is called as Lenz's law. So what is Faraday's first law? Faraday's first law talks about the condition for electromagnetic induction, and that is what we have been deliberating so far. This law states that induced EMF is produced across the ends of the coil only when magnetic flux passing through the coil change or varies. So there has to be variation of flux through the coil for the production of potential difference across its ends or electromagnetic induction to take place. Well, induced EMF, this is induced EMF, potential difference, is non-zero, that means it is produced only when d phi, that is change of flux, is non-zero, that means there is change of flux. So this is what we have already understood here. The same thing, that is the condition for electromagnetic induction, is explained by Faraday's first law. Now Faraday's second law talks about the value of induced EMF. Induced EMF, the value of induced EMF is directly proportional to rate of change of magnetic flux. So if there is greater rate of change of flux, induced EMF would be greater. Where is this rate of change of flux greater? If magnet and coil are brought closer to each other with greater speed, there is greater rate of change of flux. If the relative velocity between the magnet and the coil is greater, the rate of change of flux is greater, well, induced EMF is going to be greater. If we double this rate of change of flux, induced EMF is going to be double. If we triple it, it is going to be tripled, and so on. So if we bring a magnet very slowly towards a coil, induced EMF would be lesser, and if we bring the magnet closer to a coil very quickly, very rapidly. So in the second case, when the magnet is brought very quickly towards the coil, the rate of change of flux is greater. And in the previous case, in the former case, when the magnet is brought closer to a coil very slowly, the rate of change of flux is lesser. So in the first case, when the magnet is brought very slowly towards a coil, induced EMF is going to be lesser in values. In the second case, when the magnet is brought very fast closer to a coil, well, the induced EMF is greater. That is what is the meaning of the fact that induced EMF is directly proportional to rate of change of flux. If we remove sign of proportionality, well, we get a constant. This constant is 1 if it is a conductor, and if it is a coil, this is n. N is number of turns in the coil. So E is equal to n times d phi by dt. This is the value of induced EMF. This is the expression for induced EMF. Well, when the two terminals where this potential difference is created are closed, short, with the help of load, say resistance R, there is electric current produced. So induced EMF is going to be IR, where R is going to be the resistance connected across the terminals, or current is going to be potential difference across the upon resistance. connected across the terminals where this EMF is produced. So if we substitute, if divide this both sides by R, what do we get? Left hand side is E upon R, that is I, and right hand side is N upon R d phi by dt. So this is the expression for induced current. This is the expression for induced current. I is equal to N by R d phi by dt. And we know this induced current or any current is always written as rate of change of charge. I is equal to dq by dt, rate of flow of charge. So if we replace this I by dq by dt, we get the expression as dq by dt is equal to N by R d phi by dt. See, this dt cancels out mentally. In your mind you can cancel it. So what is this? dq is equal to N by R d phi. This is the value of induced charge. Very, very important. This is the expression of induced charge or induced electricity. So this is the expression for induced EMF, E is equal to N d phi by dt. This is the expression for induced current. This is the expression for induced charge. There is a similarity between these two expressions and there is a technical difference between these two and this one. What is similarity? Induced EMF is directly proportional to rate of change of flux. Induced current is also directly proportional to rate of change of flux. So both current and EMF and potential difference are directly proportional to rate of change of flux. But induced charge is directly proportional to only change of flux, not its rate of change of flux. Whether we bring a magnet very fast or we bring a magnet very slowly towards a coil, in both cases the induced charge, induced electricity is going to be same. Well, but in the two cases you have already understood the induced current and EMF will be different. Children, let's understand now the third law of electromagnetic induction. Very, very important. And this third law is called as Lenz's law. This Lenz's law talks about the polarity of the induced EMF or the direction of induced current. This is third law. Well, first law talks about conduction of electromagnetic induction. Second law talks about the value of induced EMF, induced current or induced electricity. But third law is going to talk about the polarity of the induced EMF or direction of induced current. And this law is stated as direction of induced current in the coil is such that it opposes its own cause that produces it. So direction of induced current or polarity of induced EMF is such that it opposes its own cause that produces it. Very, very simple law, but very, very important. So direction of induced current or polarity of induced EMF is going to be such that it is going to oppose its own cause of production. And let us understand it with the help of these three examples. 1, 2 or 3 examples. Well, this is a coil. You can see this is a coil. This is a magnet. As this magnet is approaching towards the coil, the flux passing through the coil is increasing, and as the result there would be electromagnetic induction and there would be induced current also. So as this magnet is approaching towards this coil, there is induced current produced in the coil. What is direction? Direction of induced current is going to be such that it is going to oppose its own cause. What is the cause? Cause is the movement of this magnet towards this coil. If this magnet is stationary, there would not be any electromagnetic induction. But as this magnet is moving towards the coil, remember this is the cause. Because of the movement of the magnet towards the coil, there is electromagnetic induction. So what is the cause? Cause is the movement of magnet towards the coil. And direction of current here is going to be such that it is going to oppose its own cause. Cause is the movement of the magnet. So the direction of current is going to be what? Such that this pole, this end of the coil is going to behave as north pole. Why it is going to behave as north pole? It is going to behave as north pole, and only by behaving as north pole it can repel the magnet. It can oppose the motion of this magnet towards itself. So this coil can oppose the motion of this magnet towards itself only when this end of the coil, which is facing this north pole, itself acquires north pole polarity. So when there is current flowing, when this end is going to behave like a north pole only when the current flows in anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise direction over the face which is facing this. If the observer is here, the current is going to be what? Anti-clockwise direction as seen by the observer this side. And if we look at the other face, when the observer is on the other side, well, the observation would be what? The current is what? Clockwise. So if we look at this coil from the side which is facing this north pole, the current is anti-clockwise because of Lenz's law. If this is anti-clockwise, the other face, the current is going to be what? Clockwise. So this observer is going to see the current flowing in anti-clockwise direction, induced current, and this observer is going to see the current flowing in clockwise direction, which is not shown here. This is the other side of the coil. But if the same magnet, see the other example, if the same magnet starts moving away from this coil, again there is change of flux, induced current is going to be produced. A direction of induced current is going to be such that it will oppose its own cause. What is cause right now? Cause right now is the movement of this magnet away from the coil. This time the direction of current in the coil is going to be such that it won't let this magnet move away. This time the current is induced because of the movement of the magnet away. And the induced current here is going to be such that it won't let this magnet move away. That means it is going to attract this magnet. And this coil is going to attract this magnet when the face of the coil facing this magnet acquires opposite polarity. That means if it is north, it is going to be south. When this end is going to be south, the current is going to be what? Clockwise. Yeah, clockwise. For an observer, this side, the observation of the current would be what? Clockwise. And if the observer is just on the other side, well, the current would be what? In opposite direction, that is anti-clockwise. So when this magnet was coming towards the coil, this coil did not let this magnet come close to it. Now when the same coil is moving away, the coil is attracting this magnet, does not allow this magnet to move away from itself. This is what? Very practical. This is very practical. It is approaching, it doesn't let it approach, and it is moving away, then it doesn't let this magnet move away. This is what is Lenz's law. Direction of induced current is such that it opposes its own cause. Well, let's see here two more examples. This is the region of magnetic field, and the magnetic field in this region is cross, and there is a circular coil moving through this magnetic field. It is entering as well as leaving the magnetic field. So as long this circular coil is outside, induced EMF is going to be what? Induced EMF is going to be 0. Why 0? It is simply because there is no flux passing through the coil as long as the coil is outside. But as the coil starts entering into the magnetic field, remember this coil is moving with a constant velocity. As the coil starts entering into the magnetic field, what happens? The flux passing through the coil increases. What flux? Cross flux. The flux passing through the coil in this direction is increasing. So what coil does? Coil produces, induced current is produced in the coil such that it opposes its own cause. So how can it oppose the flux which is increasing and in this direction? So the cross flux is increasing. The coil can oppose this cross flux by producing its own flux in opposite direction. And its own flux in opposite direction which is going to oppose this cross flux has to be what? Dot flux. And this coil is going to produce dot flux, and only by producing dot flux, that is the flux in this direction, it can oppose the increment of the cross flux. This cross flux is increasing as this coil enters. The cross flux passing through the coil is increasing as this coil is entering into this magnetic field. So this coil produces its own field in the opposite direction, and this field is this magnetic line of forces produced by the coil are in perpendicular outward direction. That is possible only when the current is what? Anti-clockwise direction. That means this end behaves like what? North pole. So as this coil enters into the magnetic field, well, electromagnetic induction makes this phase which we can look at as north pole, and this phase behind is what? South pole. But as it enters into the magnetic field completely, when it is completely into the magnetic field, induced EMF becomes 0, induced EMF remains 0 as long as it is completely into the magnetic field. Why induced EMF is 0? Because now the flux passing through the coil have become constant. But as it starts leaving this magnetic field, again there is electromagnetic induction. Again there is electromagnetic induction. But what happens as the coil is coming out of this magnetic field, the cross flux is decreasing. So coil starts producing its own flux to compensate that decrease. That means the end is going to behave like a south pole, and this is going to behave like what? A south pole. So while it is entering, the cross flux is increasing, it produces its own flux dot to oppose that increment in the cross, therefore it becomes north pole, and as the coil is coming out of the field, the cross flux is decreasing, therefore this coil also produces cross flux to nullify the change, to nullify the decrement in the flux, therefore it behaves like south pole. So while entering it behaves like a north pole, and while coming out of this magnetic field it behaves like a south pole. That phase which you can see is south pole, and as long it is completely outside or completely inside, induced EMF is zero because the flux in that situation is constant. This is another example. This is a straight current carrying conductor kept close to a coil like this. When current is constant, when current passing through the coil is constant, there is fixed value of magnetic flux passing through the coil, and in this situation the induced EMF is going to be what? Zero. Induced EMF is going to be zero in the coil. But as the current passing through the coil increases or decreases, as the current passing through the coil increases or decreases, in that case what happens? Okay, let us take one case, increases. As the current passing through the coil increases, well, this coil produces what field here? This coil produces cross field throughout the space. This is magnetic field. As the current is increased, what happens? The magnetic field produced by this straight conductor here also increases. As magnetic field increases, the cross flux increases, and the coil produces its magnetic field exactly in the opposite direction so as to nullify this increment in the cross flux. So it starts behaving like north pole. North pole, and by being north pole, it produces its own flux where? In this dot direction. So by producing its flux in the outward direction, it can nullify the increment in the flux which is in cross direction. Because of increase of current, magnetic field increases, and because of increase of magnetic field, the magnetic flux also increases. So this magnetic flux which is cross is increasing, and the induced current is such that it opposes its own cause, and for that the current has to be in anti-clockwise direction. Well, it is because of Lenz's law. The expression of induced EMF is rewritten with negative sign here. We get a negative sign in the expression of induced EMF here, in the expression of current here, in the expression of charge. In all the three expressions we get negative sign, and these negative signs in the expressions for induced EMF, induced current and induced charge are exclusively because of Lenz's law. So this is all I wanted to discuss today. Children, what we have studied today is all given in your class 10 syllabus. I have not taken up any new topic from electromagnetic induction. I have just recapitulated what you have already studied in class 10 with a little bit higher level of applications as you have understood. We'll meet very shortly with the remaining part of the chapter. Until then, goodbye.